Many boats have decks, hulls, and bulkheads which are made up of core material sandwiched between two fiberglass skins. This core material may be balsa, plywood, foam, or honeycomb. When damaged, the core material must be replaced before new skins can be laminated. Another common problem is puncture damage in an area where access to the rear of the repair is either restricted or impossible. The backup techniques described here will work with either core or solid laminate panels. Remove loose or damaged material and cut out the repair area with a saber saw. Prepare a flexible yet structural backup piece by cutting 3 or 4 pieces of 6 ounce, which is 200 grams per square meter of fiberglass fabric. Cut it several inches larger than the repair area. You'll also need a piece of plastic and a piece of peel ply. Using the resin hardener mixture, wet out 1 piece of cloth at a time on the plastic sheet. Cover the laminate with the peel ply and squeegee out excess epoxy and air bubbles. Allow the laminate to cure overnight or for 6 to 8 hours under heat. When the laminate has cured, remove the peel ply and plastic. You'll have a flexible, strong piece of laminate for the backup piece. While the backup laminate is curing, prepare the damaged area. Using a router with a straight flute cutting bit to cut through the fiberglass skin, 1 to 1.5 inches or 2.5 to 4 centimeters from the edge of the hole. It may be helpful to make a guide for controlling the cutting diameter. Here, we use a pin attached to the router's base plate. Chisel out the skin and the core material. Be sure you've exposed sound core on all sides of the hole. If the core is damp, dry it with heat lamps or a hot air gun. Wipe the inner skin with solvent to remove any remaining adhesive or contaminants. Sand the skin and the exposed core material with 80 grit sandpaper. The inner edge of the hole slightly to reduce stress concentrations. As with the solid laminate, measure the skin thickness to determine and mark a 12:1 bevel line around the hole. Use a grinder with an 80 grit sanding disc to grind the bevel. Wipe the area with solvent to remove any contaminants. Mark a vertical line through the center of the laminated backup piece for orientation. Trace the outer edge of the core on the backup piece and cut out the oval with scissors. Drill a pilot hole through the center line. Attach a piece of wire to the laminate with a self-tapping sheet metal screw. Remove any dust from the repair area. Apply resin hardener to the inside of the hole with a clean paper towel. Add 406 colloidal silica to the resin hardener, making a mayonnaise thick mixture. Apply liberally to the edge of the backup piece. Insert the backup piece into the hole, wire side out, bending the piece slightly if necessary. Align the piece with the vertical mark. Pull the wire taut with sufficient pressure to squeeze thickened epoxy from the joint. Secure the wire. Remove excess epoxy mixture and allow it to cure overnight, or 6 to 8 hours under heat. When cured, remove the wire and the screw. Tape a piece of clear plastic over the hole and mark the top of the piece. Trace the outline of the hole on the plastic. Transfer the oval shape to the core material. Cut out the replacement piece and sand the edges smooth. Check the core piece for proper shape, adjusting as necessary for a snug fit. Wet out the core material and the hole with the resin hardener mixture. Be sure to coat the edges of the core as well. Add 406 colloidal silica to the resin hardener and apply the mayonnaise thick mixture to the whole cavity and the inner surface of the core material. Insert the core into the cavity. Epoxy should squeeze from the joints. Clean off excess epoxy. Lay up the outer skin using the same procedures as with the solid laminate. laminate the patch so that it matches the original outer skin thickness. Be sure to wet out the new core material before applying the patch. To accelerate cure time, use heat lamps or a hot air gun to heat the laminate. When cured, follow the same fairing techniques used on the solid laminate.